Hey, it's me, Uncle Reed. Look, we're gonna talk about Aunt Jemima. Most of y'all remember Aunt Jemima pancake mix and Aunt Jemima syrup, and we all know that it was removed by the from the face of the product that have long been associated with Quaker Oats and good food, breakfast, and all of that. But it's removed by the parent company, PepsiCo, which is actually Pepsi Cola. And Pepsi Cola products, like Lay's and all of that. Because when I get to some of y'all white people gonna want to go out and cancel, they already want to. They want to cancel the Pearl Miller product because it no longer has the face of Aunt Jemima, and they claim that it's a slight to the person that played Aunt Jemima, Nancy Green. They don't care about Nancy Green. If they were really concerned about black people and their early business efforts, their early business successes, why don't they talk about somebody like Madam C.J. Walker? That's because Madam C.J. Walker did not get her money through a role that was acceptable to white people at the time. She went out, created her own business, promoted her own business, and made her money basically off of a black product in the black community and turned into a legitimate millionaire. I think Guinness says that Madam C.J. Walker was the first black female millionaire in the United States. Verifiable black female. In other words, they could go to the bank to see the money. Now back to Nancy Green. Not taking anything from Nancy Green because, in a way, she is a history maker. She was the first black face to be a trademark logo on any product in the country. And she did make money, but the article that I read in Facebook, the post I read in Facebook, tried to say that it was a slight because she was such a successful businesswoman, applying the trades and skills that she loved. What trades and skills? They wanted to act like, she created ready-mix pancake mix. She didn't. She was a cook. She was a cook with considerable talents, but her talents were learned in white people's kitchens, working as a servant. When she she actually auditioned for the role of Aunt Jemima. She was a maid for a judge in Chicago. Nancy Green was born in 1832, spent the first 30 years of her life as a slave. After the Civil War, she migrated to Missouri with the family that formerly enslaved her, and then she made her way to Chicago where she found the job, or was auditioned for the job as Aunt Jemima. The whole Aunt Jemima concept was based on the Mammy stereotype of a black woman. Big, gregarious, affable black woman that got her joy in life from cooking and serving white people. Green's first appearance was in the Columbian Expo in Chicago in 1893, where she dressed in basically a slave costume, a slave servant's costume, kitchen worker. She was on stage and all she did was make pancakes, sing, tell jokes, and talk to mostly white people. She was an instant success. As Aunt Jemima products with her face on it spread throughout the country and into several other and became internationally known. Pearl Milling Company got rich. Quaker Foods got rich when they bought out Pearl Milling Company, and Pepsi Cola got rich when they bought out Quaker Foods. Now, I guess if you look at it, she was probably one of the biggest moneymaker trademarks in the history of the United States. But unlike Madam C.J. Walker, there is no evidence, even though a lot of right-wing conservatives that are pushing the Nancy Green thing try to act like she was such a great businesswoman that she became a millionaire. There's no evidence that Nancy Green was ever a millionaire. I'm not trying to talk bad about Nancy Green, because during that time, all the way up until probably the 70s, from the 1800s to the 70s, black people were locked into certain roles if they were going to be the public face of anything. That's most apparent in the entertainment industry. Butterfly McQueen was the first black woman to win an Oscar. I think she won it in 1939 for her role in Gone with the Wind. The thing is, Butterfly McQueen really hated that role. She didn't like playing servants and slaves, but that's all she played, except for one movie in 1944 where she played a female black army sergeant. And even though she won an Oscar in 1939, which is the highest achievement in the acting community, film acting community, her short appearance in the movie was edited out. She wasn't playing a slave, she wasn't playing a maid. But this is the atmosphere, the setting that Nancy Green had to operate in. Now, Nancy Green was actually a great person. She helped establish the oldest Baptist church in Chicago, Olivet Baptist Church. She used her position with Pearl Milling and then Quaker Oats to travel, and what money she did acquire, which was never what she really deserved for the amount of income she was generating for Quaker Oats, she put it back into the black community. She was a philanthropist. She didn't make her money and run. But the whole concept, the Mammy concept that made the product sell, was bigoted and prejudiced, and it was a mind twist to put an image of black people in the minds of Americans and the international community that black people should always be servants. We were happiest as servants, tending to the needs of white people. This is the whole point behind this effort from right-wing conservatives. They're trying to we're not prejudiced, we like black people, look at Nancy Green. No, you like black people that do what you want them to do when you want them to do it. And that goes across the whole spectrum. Remember Herschel Walker running for Senate in Georgia? The extreme right-wing MAGA fanatics, they loved Herschel Walker. Black people was like, look, man, we know this dude was a great football player, and he might be a fairly decent businessman because he got money, but there is no way in hell we want to see him sitting up in the Senate playing stuff and fetch it for everything that the right-wing super MAGA caucus wants to accomplish. There's others like Byron Donaldson from Florida, who is a Muppet with the MAGA hand certainly inserted up parts of his anatomy that I won't mention. But the whole Nancy Green thing, the whole Aunt Jemima thing, was the beginning of this application of deflection and taking the truth, taking it out of context, and trying to present it in a way that will justify the right-wing conservative opinion on everything. It's a shame because white people are actually nutting up and screaming, almost crying, they took Aunt Jemima off the box, what are we gonna do? It's like, look, it didn't change a damn thing. It's still the same pancake mix. It's still the same syrup. If you were all tied up into the mix and the syrup, that it was such a key part of your life, that it was such a key part of your development, that it was such a key part of your existence, what difference does the face make? The difference is when you take away that face, when you take that face off the shelf, it's an indication to you, and it's something that the far right does not want to let happen, is that it ain't your world no more, baby. You do not get that projection of what black people should be and how they should function in quote unquote your world. This is America. Irregardless of who the forefathers were, it's all about what they wrote. And if it applies to you as an American, then it applies to everybody else. Black, white, Asian, Indian, Eastern Indian, because American Indians ain't Indians. They are Native Americans. They were mislabeled by one scroungy ass bastard named Christopher Columbus. But this is all a poor method of psychological warfare. You want to pace the shelves of supermarkets across the country, something that everybody has to use, with images that project your opinion of a particular race. It's just like removing derogatory or degrading logos from sports teams that depict Native Americans. Like when the Redskins were forced to change their name to the Commanders, taking the Atlanta Braves, giving up the logo with, the Indian chief. It is not, none of these things were a symbol of respect. Most of them were, first of all, just monetary symbols, and they were used as, when they were used, they knew that they were degrading, but it made money, and it was acceptable to America in the Jim Crow era. Jim Crow is gone. We need to let that stuff die. Pepsi said that when they took Aunt Jemima off the face of their products. Later on, Uncle Ben was removed by their parent company off the face of Uncle Ben's rice. It's not that we are robbing American history, it's just a damn logo. What we are, or what the companies were trying to do, was give an entire segment of the nation, a minority segment of the nation, the respect that they were long overdue. So all you people that's crying about no more Aunt Jemima, go ahead and cry. Really? Black people don't give a shit. Well, that's it for me, Uncle Ricky. Peace out. God bless. Goodbye for now.